guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your hostess with the mostest, Aspenblue, and you're watching CreatorSim. Hi guys, so this is part 2 of my little, I guess it's like a little mini-series of the Witch's Cottage. So, we dove in. This is the greenhouse sort of thing that we are decorating. And yeah, it's supposed to have plants in it, but I kind of clutter it up and make it like a witch's greenhouse. So, there are a couple planters in there. Those end up changing their current locations. But, so your sim can go ahead and garden her mystical herbs, but mostly I thought it'd be kind of just like a little workshop. So I went ahead and I cleared up these shelves here, and I don't know, I thought these windows like didn't really fit for like a greenhouse, but I wanted it to kind of have a traditional look to it. And if you look at like really old greenhouses, there actually is a lot of like character in the windows and stuff. So these Strangerville windows came out fantastic, and I absolutely adore the roof pattern that I used to. I hardly ever use that glass roof pattern, but I think it just looks exquisite when it comes to greenhouses. It just casts the prettiest look. So anyways, here I am kind of cluttering up like the above cauldron area. I think this is my favorite room in the house so far. We only work on the greenhouse and at the bottom floor of the cabin. So we get the greenhouse done, the kitchen, the dining, well, everything on the bottom floor. And then I went ahead and I put like who I imagine to be like the dad's room on the bottom floor as well in this build. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. And I'm really in love with this little like pelican looking, the bird of Batu figurine right there from the Journey to Batu. And of course our witch needs some transportation, so I added in a couple of broomsticks. And of course, I know you guys really are already loving the exterior. It's still going to evolve as this build goes on. As you can see, I had to add some more around it. So it's going to look completely different from episode 1 compared to episode 3, and I'm really, really excited myself to see how it's going to evolve. So thank you guys so much for being on this little journey with me. So I had to add a wreath, and okay, so if you guys are Christian and really into Christmas, please do not hate me for saying this, but a lot of the traditions we use with Christmas come from pagan traditions. For example, the tree, we always use the pine tree, and the wreath. Essentially, the wreath was supposed to keep, oh gosh, I should have double checked before I just started spouting facts off. Essentially, the wreath, though, I'm pretty sure is supposed to keep certain spirits from entering the home, I want to say. Anyways, so yes, the wreath and all that kind of goes back to pagan holidays and the winter solstice celebration. So I went ahead and I included the wreath here and as well on the front of the cottage too. And they just look super cute. I'm not a big fan of the wreaths in the that we got. I mean, honestly, I never use the Christmas decorations, and I hardly ever play in the seasons as well, but that little one is so cute. Okay, I am so happy with this. So at first, I just kind of wanted the cauldron to like glow, and then I got the idea to make it look like, I don't know, something was brewing in there and just like bubbling and like filling up. So I'm really, really happy with the way this came out. I wish these things were like animated. I wonder if I could shrink down some like potions inside the orbs and if they'd still be noticeable. I think that would look kind of cool. The tour guys I don't have in live mode, so none of the potions like bubble or anything. I think the potions go bad. I don't know honestly. So I didn't want that to happen. So even though I do have Sims in mind and they're like playtesting this build, I haven't actually like let them live in it yet. I don't want them to mess anything up. I don't want to like find random like dirty plates when I am doing like the final tour. So they're not entering the house just yet. I kind of just use them to do the mod tool. And I haven't really had to play test anything. Everything should work thus far. Okay, so it took me a while to land on an interior. I really wanted to keep like a cabin feel at heart, but then I realized these are modern Sims for the most part. You know, I give them a TV, even though it's the one from Eco Lifestyle. Okay, and then watch me totally forget that, yeah, there's this whole other room there. And I don't know, this floor plan is a little wonky. I guess it would have looked better if the kitchen was opposite, like facing, just like flip it 90 degrees, you know? But I really wanted there to be a dining area in the, like the little bay window area. And if I do end up putting the dining table there, it's just, I don't know, it's a weird layout, but I'm fine with it. It's a witch's house, you know? It's weird. It's the whole point of it. I'm not being too much of a perfectionist too about the ivy clipping in everywhere. I'm kind of just dealing with it, so sorry. So I actually am using a lot of the vampire stuff pack in this build because I feel like it goes along very well, especially the vampire cabinets, which I end up putting in this room too. They look very like apothecary. There's a skull in them, but aside from that, there's just a bunch of little apothecary jars, and I think that's just so perfect. As a little girl, I was obsessed with witches. My mom was a really big Charms fan, but I think my obsession with wanting to be a witch, and like I think I went through like a Wiccan phase and everything like that. So if you are a Wiccan, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to like insult you or anything at all, but like yeah, as a kid, like I just went through a Wiccan phase where I practiced what I thought was witchcraft, and I think that's what got me into my obsession with plants, if I'm being honest with you as well. It kind of just like went back to the natural remedies for things, and I do think that is kind of, well, science was a form of magic for the most part when it first, we started working with it. And so yeah, if I can cure your headache with a tea rather than you pop in like an aspirin, why not? So I think that's where my obsession with plants comes in, and I can't wait till I have my own garden. I don't really have the space for it. My living situation is sort of temporary at the moment, so yeah. Oh, and I just love shrinking down the cauldrons too. They fit perfectly on these shelves, and that pink one is just adorable. I'm not really sure where I'm going to fit a usable cauldron in the house just yet, because again, I want it to look like a normal house. Like, sure, they're wishes, but not everything needs to be like, spooky. Okay, so this is one of my favorite tips, and I did this in my fortress build one too, but essentially you just go ahead and raise up a basket here, and then you put a pet bed in there. So this actually works for a small cat or dog, so I don't know, I think it looks super cute, and I really just don't like the pet beds we have, so yeah. And of course we have to have some hanging herbs, which in my head, they collected from their garden that they have, and they use either in cooking or witchcraft. And I don't know why I thought it looks like a lionfish, but I think they call it something else in the game. Anyways, I decided to enlarge that and kind of put its like mounted head above the back door. It's weird, I don't know, but I thought it was kind of fitting. I really wanted to add like the little jars of the dead things, but I don't know, they look a little bit too cartoony, and I wanted this to look like more like a sophisticated witch. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I didn't add like pumpkins and everywhere, and the outside isn't super like dark or looming or anything. Like, these are happy witches. Did you guys ever watch Charmed, for example? Like, their house was stinking cute. The sunroom, I think, was my favorite like part of that whole house, and the exterior was bright and pretty. Okay, so here we are on this cursed living room. I had such a pain with this layout because this room with the bedroom and a bathroom in mind, it was just, I suppose I could have put the bathroom in that corner. I don't know. So yeah, and I really wanted to do like the open diagonal doors too, so that kind of messed with things as well. But I think the living room ends up like turning out okay. In my head though, these aren't people who are super into lounging around and watching TV. They're far more busy working on themselves, their craft, for example. Okay, so I got rid of the staircase to like figure things out, and then I started building and laying the floor plan out without the staircase. So watch me hate my life here momentarily. And I really wanted a fireplace too. Like, what is this saying? Like, the fireplace is the heart or the hearth. It's the center of the home essentially, because that's where we sat, a long time ago when we weren't sure if the sun was going to come up the next day. We sat around the fire and we told our stories, and it's kind of the beauty of, I don't know, the humans. I always hated having a TV above the fireplace. That's actually one of my biggest pet peeves. So it doesn't end up being that way and once I get the floor plan back in shape, but you'll see I hardly ever put a television over the fireplace. I hate it. I will never have a TV over my fireplace unless there's absolutely no other way for me to do it, just because I love the fireplace so much, and I'd much rather have like a family portrait or just any sort of painting or piece of art above it and not the television, because the TV is not important to me, which I feel silly saying. Like, I'm a huge like techie. I wouldn't say I'm techie, but okay, so I run a YouTube channel. My monitor is a 55-inch TV that's mounted above my desk, so I guess that sounds a little silly for me to say, but as far as just like, I wouldn't display my TV like that, if that makes sense. Anyway, so here we are in the bathroom. I still haven't realized that I have no way to get upstairs. Yep, nope, still haven't figured it out. Oh, there we go. Then I'm like, where? So the entry is a little cramped, but I figured it's okay. And I do feel like it makes it feel a little bit more like a cabin, because I was worried that the floor plan was just too big for it to be considered a cottage. So I don't know, maybe all these like random like curves and, you know, just, I don't know, maybe this makes it feel a little smaller and like tucked in. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm not done decorating with the entryway. I did take the tour, and then when I was looking at it, putting this video together before I started doing voiceover, I thought that I should add some more, but not to the point where I'd go in and like refilm it. So there will be, of course, a final tour once the house is complete. And I'm not an organized builder. This is my first attempt at trying to be an organized person. Normally I'm all over the place. I just build where I feel like it, because I get burned out on an idea, or when I feel like a room isn't working, I just need to step back and move to another part of the house or work on some landscaping for a bit. And I think that makes sense, you know, in real life. That's, you know, just step away from the problem if you can't, you know, if you're having a hard time. And I play that way in The Sims. I just know that during a speed build, that can like look a little silly, jumping around and then trying to edit and like talk about your build when you're jumping from, you know, the garden to the kitchen, back to the garden. So this is my first attempt trying to be as streamlined as possible. So I do know that I'm going to go around last minute hectically and like add stuff up, but you guys are here on the journey with me. You'll see how it evolves. I'm still a little apprehensive about like doing these little multi-parts. I don't know, and not, but I see a lot of you guys do the builds in parts, and you know, it works out pretty well, and I definitely watch them, so I guess you guys could watch this too, I hope. Okay, so this is like the dad spellcaster's room. It's not very like spooky or witchy. It's very, I wouldn't even say it's like very masculine. I just wanted it to be toned down, you know. I didn't put too much into it. Looking back though, I will go ahead and raise the coat and hat thing a little high, because I do go ahead and I add in the archaeologist table too at the end to give them some sort of activity in there, and I think it looks really great. But taking the captures, I did realize that it was sort of low in comparison to the desk. Okay, so this was like my little entertainment center. It's just, I took the two Realm of Magic bookcases and I stuck them next to each other and stuck in that little desk that Dad has in his room, and I think it looks okay. And like I said in the first episode, I don't know, maybe Mom died of some like magical mishap and she's buried out in the yard with some other family members, because I thought it'd be cool to have like a family plot. So I figured the portrait in his room is maybe Mom. I don't know. I love that picture though. That's one of my favorite. We don't have a lot of great pictures, or like we have good pictures but bad frames and things like that. So that's one of my all-time favorite pictures. I beat that picture to death. Okay, so here's this fireplace. Oh, nope, we're back outside. This is what I mean. Okay, here we go. So trying to clutter up the fireplace. I do want to clutter up this area a little bit more, but I know that the fireplace has a tendency of like catching things on fire near it. But I just feel like it looks really nakey in that corner. So I might take like some debug logs and stack them up. And then of course I needed this floral fountain. I thought it'd look really nice over in our plot area, which again, like the garden area is not finished yet, because I'm going to plant I'm going to have my Sims plant a bunch of plants out there. And I think I'm going to do a shed after all. That's just big enough for, you know, some of the gardening decor and maybe the flower arranging table and like maybe the workshop table. I don't know. We'll see how it comes together. Like I said, this is evolving over time. Normally you guys just see like the chaos of the speed build and then like skip to the end results. So we're gonna take this in baby steps. I already know I already have plans to change this. So I've really been trying not to blind my Sims to death with those aerial lights. So I'm trying to add some mood lighting around. I always go in first thing though and add the saucer lights just because it lights up the room. And I realize halfway too when I do start building that you guys are in darkness or you have a hard time like seeing what I'm doing, because I don't add lights right away. So that's why I add the saucer lights, just to get some lights in there. And then I try and go around after the fact and get rid of them, or add lights that are going to add something to the build. And I've been using like a lot of the nail polish and like cologne and perfumes too, just because I feel like they look kind of like potion-y bottles. I didn't want this house to look too like witchy or run down. I wanted it to look like maybe modern day witches. Let's just think about Charmed, for example. Their house looked pretty normal. In fact, I think they hosted like, we'll call them muggles. I don't think they had a word for them in Charmed, but you know, non-magical knowing people. But yeah, this one is still pretty fun and whimsical. I'm not really sure how I feel about that little like cute little skeleton above the doorway in the kitchen. I might get rid of it because it looks a little too cutesy for such like an obvious area. Like it might be cute clutter in the kids' room. I don't know if I'm feeling it in the kitchen anymore. So yeah. We just have a few more minutes before we get to like the tour, which I will let you guys watch in peace. Oh, I really wanted this fern to work. Yeah, I wasn't able to get it to work. It doesn't shrink down any lower, and then I kind of got, it's like, you know, let's just have the jar there. All right, yeah, here's Dad's archaeology table, and then I go ahead and I shrink down that lamp. I love that lamp. That's one of my favorite lamps. I wasn't sure on these curtains either in this room, but I don't know. I think they do it. I don't think I get rid of them. I have such a hard time like picking curtains. In fact, most of the time I don't even add curtains. And then I realized I didn't like those curtains enough to like add them everywhere, and so they're only going to be on the window in the living room. Maybe they keep the glare out, you know. That's like their only purpose. And of course, I really do my best to clutter up the walls. Especially when I use the taller walls too, because I think it's one thing when you use the short walls, you know, it's a little bit easier for the room not to look so empty, but when I'm using taller walls and I'm just like furnishing and not putting a lot on the walls, I feel like it makes the room look like it's missing something, in my opinion. So that's why I'm trying so hard to clutter up the walls. How many times when I say clutter up the walls? Okay, and this is my thing lately. I love shrinking down pictures and making them look like they're resting, or like picture frames and actually sitting on a surface. Because I wish we had more frames. I think I've said that so many times. You guys are probably sick of it. But I guess EA, if you're listening, please give us more picture frames. And I know you can make your own. I just don't actually play with The Sims enough to take cutesy pictures with them, which I've been trying to. I just recently started messing around with like your guys' custom content poses and stuff, and I took a couple cute pictures and I really like them. I'm not super familiar with it yet, so it'll take some time. I really love the way this build is coming together. I think this build might be my favorite build once it's done. Anyways, these screen captures are coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching part 2, the downstairs half. If you like what you saw, if you want to see more, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Comment if you have any questions or anything, you know, let me know. I love you guys watching my videos. Anyways, again, this is your hostess with the mostest, @aspenblue on CreatorSim. Enjoy these captures, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.